Amber Lee from KTBU. I wanted to see if you could share your thoughts about the Curry brothers playing, first NBA brothers to be playing in the Western Conference Finals.
It's pretty amazing, you know, to see these guys playing against each other at this stage of the playoffs. It's just a great story, great family. We have footage of Steph and Seth playing against each other one-on-one, and one was about 8 and the other was about 6, I think. And we showed it a couple of years ago in one of our scouting reports, you know, before the game, and to tell Steph that, you know, make sure to send Seth left, because I think Seth went right around and going right in that footage at 6 years old. So it's kind of fun just to think about, and to, you know, the family must be having an amazing time, and I'm sure it'll be difficult for them to figure out who to cheer for, but just a remarkable family.
Steve, Tim Calcom, the athletic boy back here. Last series, you wanted to play Andre as much as possible to match up with their 2 perimeter players. Obviously, this team, 2 perimeter players. Do you see that similarly in the way you might use Andre, and especially from the start?
It's a little trickier because Houston started 3 guards, whereas you know, Portland has a more traditional lineup where you've got a couple of pretty big wings with Harkless and Aminu, and then obviously Cantor at center. But there will for sure be times during the game when we'll match up, you know, with Andre, with one of those guards. I mean, he's one of the best defensive players in the league, and these guys are 2 of the best guards in the league. So the matchup will happen at some point, maybe not right at the start, but you know, we'll see how it goes.
Far back right-hand side.
Steve, Nick Krepke with Fox 12 in Oregon. You've obviously seen these guys enough. You've seen them grow over the years, the adversity they've gone through, losing Nurk, losing obviously Paul Allen. What this club's been able to do to get to this point.
Well, I'm a big fan of their team, and a big fan of Terry's. I watch them quite a bit on our off nights. I like the way they play. I love their crowd. You know, having played for the Blazers for 1 year back a long time ago. It's a great city and a great fan base. So very happy for them. They've had almost a magical season, and they've dealt with so much adversity. And I don't think it's a coincidence that they've overcome that adversity, because they've got talent and high character players, and I'm impressed with the continuity too. You know, they've stayed together. It's not an easy thing to do these days in the NBA. You know, most teams want to shake things up as soon as you know, there's any sign of trouble or whatever. You know, this team got swept in the first round last year, and to come back and have this kind of season, to me it shows the importance of continuity, staying with the coach and the GM and sticking with that lineup. So they've got our respect, my respect for sure.
Coach Kirk, Tony Harvey, Sacramento Observer. Of course, we know about CJ and Lillard. What's your assessment of Sean Collins? He really came up big in that last series, and this is just the 2nd year in the league.
Zach, right?
Zach, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. He's a really good player. He's, you know, he should only be a junior in college, I think, if my math is correct. So, as such a young player, he's come a long way pretty quickly. Very athletic, very tough, very competitive. Played a big role in their Denver series, and I'm sure he'll play a big role in this one.
Second row here, left-hand side.
It's Steve Mark McKenna, Bay Area News Group. Given what you saw in Game 6 and assessing your needs with this series, what kind of role do you envision the bench having?
I think the bench will have a big role. You know, it's with Kevin out, we're going to and DeMarcus. We're going to need everybody, and you know, the way we replaced Kevin in Game 6 was by giving a lot of people minutes, maybe short bursts, but you know, we didn't replace him with one guy. We kind of replaced him with our depth, and you know, I think that's the way you'll see it tonight.
Colleague from AP, Clay shared a little bit yesterday about his practice of meditation, and what that's doing for him. What's your take on just the maturity that shows that he's found something else that works for him to prepare for games?
Well, Clay is always, someone who, everybody sort of marvels at his life, the simplicity of his life, and he just needs a basketball and his dog, and that's it. And we all laugh about it, but there's Clay's a lot deeper than people realize, so it doesn't surprise me that he's meditating and he's found ways to calm himself before games and keep himself going during the season. He's been in the league for a long time now. I'm sure Julie and Michael have had a lot to do with his maturity. Just the way he carries himself. He's a dream to coach. He's zero maintenance, but he'll surprise you with his depth. You may not think there's a whole lot there, but there's plenty there. He just sort of doesn't let you in on it very often.
Second.
Hi, Mindy Bach, ABC 7 Sports. And speaking to the players yesterday at practice, they said the biggest benefit they got from the weekend off was the mental break. I was a little surprised. I thought it'd be maybe more physical. What is the biggest advantage you see when your players get that break on the court?
I think it's hard to truly understand how exhausting these playoffs are for everybody, whether it's a team like ours that's been deep in the playoffs for the last 4 years, or a brand new team, young team. But the mental and emotional stress that hits you every day, even on non-game days when there's media, there's demands on your time, there's criticism, there's judgment. If you choose to turn on the TV, they're talking about you. So it really wears on you. And I think when you win a series, there's a tremendous sense of relief for a couple of days, and definitely helps to come back to the Bay and get some sunshine. Felt like going back and forth to Houston there. We were either in a hotel room or a tin can 30,000 feet above the earth, and sometimes you just need to be grounded. You need to get outside and feel the fresh air, and so I think getting those 2 days off was really big for us. And then we had a good preparation day yesterday and a film session this morning, and hopefully we'll be ready to go.
Bruce McGowan with KCBS. I'm just curious, as a former NBA guard yourself, how much do you look forward to watching these matchups tonight with McCollum and Lillard going up against your great backcourt?
I'd much rather watch these guys than coach against them. They're amazing. They're tough to guard, and we've seen them a couple times in the playoffs over the last few years, and so we now know how difficult the challenge is. So from a fan standpoint, this is as good as it gets, between Steph, Clay, Damian, and CJ. So all great players going head to head. It's going to be entertaining, but we've got to find a way to slow those guys down.
Third row middle.
Connor Letourneau, San Francisco Chronicle. Steve, what did you learn about, what do you remember most about your season with the Blazers, and what did you learn about the city of Portland during that year and the fan base, and what this type of run could mean to that city?
Without my family, my kids were already in school when I got traded from San Antonio, so I went up there and lived on my own, and so from that perspective, it was a tough year, but it also gave me a chance to explore the city quite a bit, get to know the city, and so Portland became one of my favorite NBA outposts that year. Just getting to know the restaurants, the hiking trails. It's just an absolutely beautiful place, and the fans have been raucous and passionate for a long time. Going back to the Bill Walton days, the late '70s, and probably before that. But I just remember the incredible support of the fans and the organic nature of the energy in that building. And so it was a really fun year. I enjoyed it immensely and enjoyed the city. And so that city always has a place in my heart.